Welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion. As Andrew would say, the Ultimate Night Ranger podcast and the podcast that you didn't know you need. I do not have lyrics. Well, maybe I do. Viva Las Vegas. Brent, those are the lyrics today.
Thank you, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, because this episode is going to be all about the Night Ranger, the two shows, the Strat, a couple weekends ago. And man, there was fans in motion everywhere. We're going to talk about all of it, Brent. Where were you?
Hey, what stays in Cincinnati or what happens in Cincinnati stays in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I had to stay here.
And Andy's working. We don't even know if he's ever coming back on the podcast. Who cares? No Andy, no problem. But so yeah, this episode is going to be all about the Vegas Night Ranger shows at the Strat. What was it, February 16th and 17th? I flew out. I was surprised by all the fans of motion peeps that were there. So we're going to get into everything that happened that weekend. I'll talk about my trip and everybody that I saw. And there's some other things that are kind of floating around out there. We'll kind of touch on these real quick. Ross Valerie's new record is coming out. I guess it's only going to be digital, Brent Tree.
Is it really?
But Eric Levy is all over that. And actually, I saw that he's maybe listed as a co-producer.
Really?
Levy getting the credits on the Ross Valerie, former bass player for Journey.
It's going to get too big for the group.
I know. Go to Kelly's page. He's doing a drummer online workshop. I think it's actually they're judging like 30 clips. Him and Mike Vanderhoel from Y&T and Bill Gibson from Huey Lewis and the News. And it's going to be a live online thing. Just go to Kelly's, any of his socials. It's on there. You'll see the link. I think it's called Loud and Clear Music or something like that. Growing Up Rock, which is a great podcast out there that Brent and I were on last month. They are doing a thing at the last weekend of every month. They're highlighting a Night Ranger record. They're doing it chronologically. We kicked it off with Dawn Patrol last month. They just released the Midnight Madness episode, Growing Up Rock. You know, it's at every fine retailer out there.
Yeah, Steve and Sonny are good guys. Give it a listen.
And I'm not sure how much of this news is supposed to be out there, but Brave Words just threw out Tak Matsumoto or something
That
like
guy,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, Tak Matsumoto. I think I pronounced Japanese last names better than I do American, but he is Jack's going to be joining him in the fall. So it's on Brave Words. Go read the article. I don't I don't know if that's supposed to be all out there or not yet, but
Eric Martin too.
I only know personally, I know Jack's doing it. I just don't know if that information should be out there. Obviously, I don't have the power to tell Brave Words, pull stuff down. So but there you go. So it's out there, Richard Lewis passed away. I don't know if you know who he
No,
is.
I didn't hear. Was that today?
Yep.
Didn't hear that.
He famous comedian's been on a lot of TV shows. If you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, you'll know that he's on there a lot. From where I'm at here, close to Columbus, Ohio, he's a Ohio State graduate. Always talks about that. Always had a lot of Ohio State pride. So sorry to see that he passed. Brent, why aren't you looking at me, man? What's going on?
I was trying to find something on the page.
Fuck that, man. Do your homework for the show. Look at me. I want to see those eyeballs.
Here, I'll bat my eyes at you.
So there's a new record, Brent. What do you think of the new Ace Frehley record?
I have 3 copies of it, and I don't have a CD, so I haven't heard it yet.
I had some Walmart bucks or whatever, so I ended up buying the CD off there because it came with the.
I can't find it anywhere.
Lenticular. I just ordered it online.
I was going to order it, and it was last Thursday, and I was trying to order it to where I can buy it in the store. I have gift certificates for it. So I didn't want to pay $25, shipping and all that shit. I figured I'd just order it, pick it up at the store. Well, at midnight, because I was waiting to see if it would switch over before I went to bed, said it was sold out. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I've been to 3 or 4 different Walmarts, can't find it. And
Well,
evidently it's out there in the store. I just can't find it anywhere. And that's the one I want.
there you go. If you're out there and you're at a Walmart, see if they've got it. It's the lenticular cover, which means it's got that little, plastic thing on the front where you move it, and Ace
Yep.
moves back and
It's
forth with
3D.
it. Yeah. I don't know.
And
But
I'll tell you this. I couldn't wait to hear Cherry Medicine, and I couldn't wait for it to end.
um,
I wasn't too hip on it.
Ace has been notorious over his last few releases of, he'll release a record and there'll be 15 different variants, different album covers with it, different colors. And it went into hyperdrive on this. 4 different covers,
Well, he did
15
4
different.
different covers on
Yeah.
Spaceman too.
Um, I bought just the regular release, I think, through, well, it was one of the record label releases. And then I bought the Lightning Bolt cover one.
There's that one. And there's your lightning bolt.
Yep.
And did you get that one?
No, I stopped at the Lightning Bolt.
And
Then
I've
there's the
got
Cherry Medicine cover.
Cherry Medicine coming tomorrow. Got my little thing cut out for it already.
Look at that. So, anyways, I will say that if you um are a Kiss fan or Ace fan, 10,000 Volts and Fighting for Life are 2 really good Ace
I
Frehley songs.
I hear Fighting for Life. It's getting out 10,000 volts. You know what song that is, don't you?
Every Ace song written since
No,
1979.
I had told my buddy the day it came out, I'm like, that's freaking Firehouse. Dun, 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 dun,
Eh,
dun, dun, dun.
I think you could do that
And
about every Kiss song.
well, and so then there was a thing on Talk Shop Live, and Steve Brown's like, yeah, we made 10,000 volts, and it's very reminiscent of Firehouse. I'm like, no shit.
So, Fighting for Life is a really good song. I don't think they got a video for it, but I'm sure you can find the audio. 10,000 Volts, they made a video for. So, anyways, you got the new Ace Frehley record out there if you're looking for something new to listen to. And I need to put an announcement on the page. I'll eventually do that. I was going to go live or something while I was out there. But for those that don't know, I basically took on Aces and Ales social media. So they are under the Josh Justofferson umbrella or whatever you want to call it. So,
Did you happen to visit that place while you were in Vegas?
well, yeah, you just might have to listen to this episode.
Damn
Um,
it. I don't want to.
um, so, anyways, those that don't know, Carrie Kelly has ownership in the Aces and Nails. They got 2 restaurants. They're opening a third near the airport. So, Aces and Nails, go follow them on Instagram and X and Facebook and Threads and all that stuff. So anyways, Night Ranger in Las Vegas. Now these
So what day
shows,
did you get there? The shows were what,
well,
Friday and
the
Saturday?
shows were Friday and Saturday, I think the 16th and 17th. Now remember, these shows were originally planned for like September 1st and 2nd, something like that. And then they were rescheduled. So these shows have been on the books for a while. Stephen Pearcy of Rat was
Phenomenal.
opening. So Stephen Pearcy, Night Ranger, 2 nights at Strat. I flew out Wednesday and got there in the, I don't know, evening or so, and it's like Ed was already out there. And you ever heard of Nobu?
No, boo, I haven't.
So Nobu is, I mean, it's a popular restaurant.
No, I never heard of it.
It's they got
Boo.
one in, I know, New York. They got a few in Vegas. Uh, kind of like a sushi place, but it's very, very expensive. Um, I never had sushi, so
Ugh.
I just told Ed, just, order for me, right? Like, you kind of like, well, what do you like? Like, yeah, just whatever. Um,
I
God,
don't get the raw
man.
aspect of eating that. I just
So,
it
like,
doesn't.
so this place, listen, it's how you go to some fancy place stuff like, Morton's and stuff. Um, and it's expensive, but you're paying for the food and the atmosphere. Not really paying for the atmosphere there. The food is just so phenomenal. Very expensive, like little beef taco, $10. Damn, they were good. So all I can say is, if you retire or something and get like a nice little chunk of change, take $400 and take you and your spouse out, and because it is the absolute best food. Um, I just can't say anything more. But anyways, that's what me and Ed did. Went to on
Oh, Nobu, not Nobu.
Nobu. We went to
Oh,
Nobu
oh
on
Nobu. Okay.
Wednesday night. Now I got like a nice drink there. It was like $18, right? Vodka and all kinds of other stuff. This is how much Vegas has changed. And it started changing about 15 years ago, really. But I went to the Strat and I was like, just get me a vodka, cranberry, and pineapple. And that was $18. I was like,
Yeah.
hell, it's cheaper to drink at Nobu than it is at this shitty Strat bar. Um, so anyways, uh yeah, you got some cash, go try Nobu. So that was Wednesday night. Really didn't do much. I think I had some drinks downstairs. Um and
See, exquisite for me is White Castle.
well, listen, I like the White Castle,
That's what I do.
but like I said, this food is phenomenal. Um and Ed being a chef, I asked him, well, why is it like this? And it's like, they're using the best beef in the world. And this chef is really known for his spices and stuff like that. So, anyways, I'm not one to ever do that. Um, you know, uh, Ed
You
actually,
didn't get on about the sushi.
the sushi was great. I mean,
Ooh.
you know, I've eaten,
What is it? Is it seaweed wrapped in like in
well,
rice?
some of them are. So, it's rice, and the rice is wrapped, around. Now I think some of the sushi we had, the stuff was cooked inside, but I also had some that was raw. But I mean, I eat raw shrimp, so what's the
Ew.
big deal about that? But anyways, so that was Wednesday, just kind of a day coming in. Uh Thursday morning I woke up. Now, if you've never been to Vegas, you basically got two tourist spots. You got the Strip and you got Old Downtown. Stratosphere is all the way at the north end of the Strip. So what I did was I got a cab or an Uber, and I uh, took the cab all the way down to the south end, and then just walked the whole strip that morning and afternoon, um, back to the Strat. So, just like I said, I hadn't been to Vegas in 10, 15 years or so. So I was just going through there and seeing what's all changed. And uh, now, a little tip: if you go to Vegas and you're at the airport and you're wanting to get to your hotel, a lot of people will Uber nowadays, and Vegas has it set up to for the cabs. They have flat rates to all the hotels, zone one, two, and three. So zone one would be the south end of the strip, closest to you know, the airport. Zone two is the middle, and zone three is the north end with like the Strat. And the zone three was $29. An Uber was almost $40 at that time. So actually taking a cab was cheaper than an Uber. So if you go out there, just remember the cabs have flat rates to the strip. And there'll be a big sign out there, when you go out to like the cab and Uber area where it'll say zone one, zone two, and zone three, and it tells you right away. So just don't, if you go out there, don't think that your Uber is going to be their cheapest route. Um, so, anyways, walking the strip, the Hard Rock Hotel, which used to be kind of right off the strip, now is like Virgin, which is where Nobu was at. Um, the Hard Rock has moved from there to a location on the strip. I think they're kind of waiting. I think they may eventually move to the Mirage, maybe, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But they've got a hotel and casino there on the strip. So I went there, uh, and I found some Night Ranger, believe it or not. I posted it on the page. Uh, did you see the jacket?
Yep, Brad's jacket.
So Brad's,
Seven Wishes tour, right?
yes. So I'll pull it up here. So it's kind of like when you go, there's two levels. It's on the main level, um, but it's kind of on the back wall. Okay, so just go back to the far left, and you will find it. It's like I said, it's up in the air. Um, so there you go. Now I sent to Brad. I'm like, you know, I go, you may see this in person later in the day. I was like, this is my only opportunity, right? Like I could try to pry this motherfucker off the wall. And if they catch me, I can just hand him my phone and say, it's this guy's, call him.
He wants
Right?
it back.
He wants it back. I'm just getting it for him. It's the only opportunity I'll ever have to do that,
He
you
sent
know?
me here.
Uh, and but it was cool. Just seeing, because I didn't know it was there. I know that I think there's like Jeff's guitar or shirt or something is in like Sioux City, Iowa. And we know
Yeah.
that
You know,
Brad's
Brad's
Tumble
pants. Yeah.
are in Tokyo.
Japan.
Yeah. So those are the only two I know off the top of my head. And I know somewhere, maybe talking to Jack or talking to someone, that Jack had donated them a guitar, I think. And like they weren't displaying it, and he told him he wanted it back. And I think they gave it back to him.
Mm.
So it was cool seeing, and it kind of pops, it's got the big old Night Ranger logo. So it's not like it's a shirt, and it's just a regular black shirt and it just says, oh, this was worn by Brad Gillis. You know what I mean? It's like it has the big Night Ranger logo on it. But a lot of cool stuff there. Eddie Van Halen guitars, some Elvis stuff, Jimi Hendrix stuff. One thing I liked, and obviously, you guys aren't going to see, but it's a newspaper. And I think it was like an English publication called Pop. And they did an article on Chris Christopherson and friends smash in more ways than one. And so if you look at this, there's the article, and you see all the handwriting. So
Yeah.
Chris Christopherson got that, copy of that, and he wrote the guy who wrote this article, and he just basically made notes on it, on the whole thing, right? So the guy wrote um, something, and he wrote with an arrow pointing to it, pure bullshit. Um, he wrote another, he circled something, he goes, probably the only fucking thing true that you wrote. Um, and then he wrote something. Um, he wrote, fuck you. I said he blew us off the stage. Um, where he wrote like, Chris basically said this other performer wasn't as good, so that was one thing. Fuck you, he blew us, off.
Mm.
I said he blew us off. Yeah, here. If you right there, you can see some of the notes. He says, "This is the only accurate quote," and he draws an arrow to it. Um, then he wrote something at the bottom. The guy who wrote the article wrote something, and he wrote it, put an arrow to it. This is the moral of the fucking story. You know, so like I said, it was just really um uh interesting. And he correcting everything, right? Like we were there for 2.5 weeks, is what the article writes, and he crosses it out 2.5 months. So he corrects everything. And so this whole article is just littered with his handwriting. And I just thought that was kind of like a pretty rock and roll thing to do. Um, so if
Yeah.
you go there, it's in just a discreet hallway. I don't know, leading to the shitter or something, but find um, that letter. A lot of cool stuff, like the box from Alice Cooper, School's Out, is there. Um, there's some Kiss stuff. I don't know. There's Hotter Than Hell. I really don't know what it is. Some type of award. Um, Here you can kind of see see the Kiss stuff, and then you can see like a service door. There's the Night
Yeah,
Ranger.
right next to Brad. Huh.
So, um,
Even Brad's jacket doesn't want to be next to Peter Chris.
so yeah, walking through there, like shit's changed. I was like, I had to text Ed. I'm like, I don't know, what is it, Park MGM? I'm like, what fucking hotel did this used to be? I couldn't think. It was in Monte Carlo. Um, so, anyways, just walk the strip. Let's see. Oh, here's I took this. Me and Brad in the so in the elevator, they got like big advertisements for like their restaurants or whatever, and they have like 8 elevators. So Brad and I got in the elevator, and it just happened to have the one for the show. And I had to snap it real quick because our door was opening. So
Mm.
so there's Brad with that now. Um, so Thursday I walked the strip. That night, uh, we went to Aces and Ales for dinner. So the crew and some of the band, obviously Carrie. And I will say this, the food's fucking phenomenal. Uh, I didn't, Carrie's just bringing out appetizer after appetizer. So I never really ordered like a, food.
Yeah.
The cheese curds are, he's like, we get them from Wisconsin, were great. The pretzels were great. Um, what I have? Uh, but one thing, so I'm not a big fried pickle guy, but every woman I've ever dated love fried pickles, right? So, when they order it, I'll always take a few. And okay, they're not bad, but just not something I would order. Those fried pickles they had there in the sauce, like the first time in my life, if I go back, that's what I'm ordering.
Really.
So, um, and like simple things, they had like pepperoni chips. So it's just pepperoni, but they've like, I don't know, dried it and cooked it. And it's like eating potato chips, but it's pepperoni. It sounds simple, but I was talking to Carrie about it. I'm like, he's like, we went through 20 different like sausages and like cutting them up and like which ones, cooked better. Um, and, so, and I saw everybody else's food. Obviously, I didn't eat it, but, all the meals that came out looked great. And if you're a beer guy, it's obviously every craft beer you can think of. And Carrie's just bringing me out different ones. And I'm like, what do you want now? I'm like, what's the one I had 3 ago? I liked it the best. And, um, but, yeah, so if you get a chance, like I said, they're opening the new one. It's going to be open maybe this summer. I think it's called the Bend. That's what it's going to be called. It's near the airport. You got one in the I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. I should. I need to fucking learn this. Tanya, Tenaya. It's out there. It's about 6 miles away from the strip, and then you got one near Nellis, which has the Air Force Base and everything. So, if you're a Night Ranger fan, Carrie Kelly fan, uh, make it out to Aces and Nails. Food is phenomenal. Obviously, if you're a beer drinker, that's the place to go. And they got cool merch. I mean, we've talked about that before. Uh, and they got the new one opening up. And I think they're 24 hour. I mean, most things in Vegas are, but
Yeah.
I think one of them is at least 24 hours. I don't know if both of them are, but so we did that Thursday night. Um, Now a little bit of breaking news here. Uh, some of you guys know Ryan, who's been Brad's guitar tech and Kelly's guitar tech and kind of Jack's for
I mean, Carrie's guitar tech.
hmm?
So Kelly's guitar tech.
Oh,
Carrie's guitar. Yeah.
well, so I think the drum tech also does the keys and maybe Jack's bass. So that's where I was kind of like Kelly's tech kind of
Yeah.
I'm thrown in there. I think that's where I got sidetracked. But anyways, Brad and Carrie's tech, but mainly Brad's. Ryan has been with them for 3 years or so, and he's moving on to some other things. So Night Ranger's looking for a new guitar tech, and right now temporarily filling in is an individual I met. His name's Darren, and he's got the credentials. So currently, he's kind of not doing much because the guitarist that he techs for, they're not on tour right now, Mr. Joe Perry from Aerosmith. And then he's been doing that for a few years. And then before that, for I think a good amount of time, maybe 20 years, he was Peter Frampton's guitar tech.
Wow.
So, um, yeah, if you see a new face up there, that's Darren. Say hi to him. And but yeah, so he's been basically, while Aerosmith's not doing anything now, I think he's kind of going to do that for a bit, maybe. But really cool guy, had a lot of great stories. Uh, we were talking about Frampton. I brought up Pat Reagan, and
Who'd you bring
we
up?
am I mixing names?
John.
John Reagan.
John
Pat
Regan.
Reagan. Pat Reagan is a producer on some of those records for Kiss. Not a producer, but an engineer. I think Hot in the Shade. Pat Reagan, right? All right. Well, you're the
I,
Kiss guy.
I,
So John Reagan. So John. But anyways, uh, um, John Reagan. I just brought up because obviously, Kiss, and then with Peter Frampton. And he knew John very well. We talked about
mm-hmm.
John for a while, and you know, um, so there, if you see him, he'll, have some John Reagan stories for you. But really cool guy, and had some great Joe Perry stories, some great Peter Frampton stories. But English guy, but he lives here in the States now. So Friday, old Eric Levy and I decided to go get lunch. So, we were thinking about going to like, one of the restaurants at the hotel, or I was like, let's find someplace local. Let's walk a little bit north of the strip. Now, north of the Strat, you want to be, it's not the greatest area. I mean, but I mean, maybe not want to walk through there at night. I still don't think you're going to, most of the people, they're not going to bother you. But anyways, so we saw that there was like some Venezuelan place up there and a couple other things. So we were going to walk to that, maybe a quarter mile worth of that. And I saw this place like with a sign, Dino's. I'm like, it said bar, I'm like, this place looks absolutely awesome, right? And on, we get closer on the outside, it says, Vegas's oldest bar or something like that. And I'm like, let's go there first and have a beer, then we'll eat. I want to see this little local pub, little bar. We walk in, it's probably the darkest bar I've ever walked into. Not only do you have the Vegas, sun brightness, but they have that place dark. And we walk in. Oh, what was great was, I've been to a couple places where, you got to be buzzed in. So you hit a buzzer and they turn on the camera and let you in or whatever. I mean, I've been to places like the old knock and
Mm-hmm.
open the eye holes. And but we go in and great little dive bar. We got a couple beers. Obviously they got little gambling machines right there at the bar. Um, so if you're ever there, go a little bit north, quarter mile north of the Strat. And if you go there, maybe a quarter mile north of that is Pawn Stars, the pawn shop. So it'd be right in between those. But we had a beer there. Then we found this little Bahamar like seafood and tacos or something. It's just some places sold like fish tacos and quesadillas, and they had them, Mexican bottled Coke, and um, I think I posted a picture on my Facebook or something. But anyways, I had a really good lunch with Eric, and we go back, and then what they've been doing. Some of you listening probably already done this, but if not, you have, the VIP that they've always had where it's hour or so before the show. Um, you know, meet the band, they give you an autographed photo, you get a couple pictures with them. Now, costs a little bit more. They got the Soundcheck VIP.
Yeah, how much is that running?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably 300, 400. I don't know. Maybe not even that much. I know they got like a pre-show huddle at some of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to go to the dressing room and watch them warm up. That might be the $500. But this one is, they'll come in, they'll, sound check for a little bit, get everything kind of, okay, this is working, this is working. And then they'll bring you in and you get to come into sound check, and they'll Ed will have a mic and you can ask him a few questions, and Night Ranger will play a couple songs for you. So I think they done like, Don't Tell Me You Love Me at one of them, Goodbye. Um, I think one of them they kind of messed around with Interstate Love Affair.
I think I
So
saw Secret of My Success on one of them too.
yeah,
I
they were kind
think.
of monkeying around with that. But you got, again, it's, Secret of My Success is a song they don't play every show. I think they were going to include that with one of the,
Yeah, that was night number two, I
yeah.
believe.
So that was one of the songs maybe they did, but so yeah, you got the set list or the sound check VIP. So if you get a chance, go. You got the extra scratch. Go do that. It's very neat. You're right up there with them, and uh, they're all joking around as they seem to enjoy it. So that was the first part of Friday. So you're obviously not going to be able to see it, but when we were walking to, me and Eric were walking to lunch, there was a big billboard, over on the strip, and it had the Night Ranger Pearcy advertisement. So if you look, you can see the billboard
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, it's visible. You can see it.
You can see Eric, and then you see the girls. So I need to get that on social media, but um. So yeah, we got a big billboard with Eric.
How cold was it there?
In the mornings, maybe high 50s. You needed a jacket, kind of, maybe in the morning till lunchtime. All right, so Night Ranger Friday night. So Stephen Pearcy played for about 40 minutes and was basically just the out of the cellar record where
Yeah, that's what he's doing now.
he kind of skipped out round and round and closed with that. Um, Pearcy's Pearcy. I mean, he sounded okay. I don't think even in his prime he sounded great, So, um, but Pearcy's good. I mean, the Rat songs are good. Uh, I think like you know, I think with that type of show, maybe he shouldn't have done the out of the cellar record and just played the hits. He's an opening, but he did that. Uh, the second night, he
Every
did.
song on Out of the Cellar is a hit to me. That's a,
Yeah, but do you want to hear whatever? I'm trying to think. One of the uh,
the
you know,
morning after. Yes. You're in trouble. Yes.
Yeah, but would
I'm
you rather hear that?
insane. Freaking
Well,
yes.
I'm insane. Yes, I like that, but or would you rather hear like "Lay It Down" and Back from War's on the record, but "Lay It Down" or um,
I would trade Scene of the Crime
"Body
and
Talk"? I always like "Body Talk." But
and
anyways,
yeah.
he did do two extra songs Saturday night. So if you saw him Saturday night, you got two extra songs, "Lay It Down" and I'm not sure what the other one was, but Stephen Pearcy was good. Night Ranger comes out. Now, what was great was what was so great about these shows and why when I went live I was kind of farther back was the video
Screw.
screen behind there. Um, so Night Ranger Friday night, um, one thing that people got was Seven Wishes. They played that, and they haven't played that in a while. I know um, a lot of film people enjoyed that, but I can tell you this. There's always arguments about set lists and stuff. And I watched that room rock. And then when Seven Wishes came on, I watched that room stop rocking. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like
I know.
if you're up on stage, you're wanting to continue that fucking pulse. And yes, I love it. Fuck yeah, Seven Wishes, right? Um, but I saw it. And same thing with Eddie. Did they do Eddie that night?
Yeah, it's just the second night was basically the standard set list that they do.
Well, I don't think they did Eddie the first night, did
I
they?
thought they did. I thought they did them
Well,
both the
maybe
first night
hold on, maybe they did. Maybe they updated
because the second night was just more of the Ozzy and Alice and you
well,
know.
so either way, whenever they did Eddie, again the room dropped. And I was like, well, what the hell? And then it picks back up, when the solos hit at the end. But it is kind of, when you put it in a live environment, it's kind of a slow song, dun 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 dun,
Mm.
and so yeah, it was kind of like, how is Eddie a mood killer? Now, obviously, it's like one of these things where maybe if it's a theater in, Podunk, Ohio, it goes over different. But now one song that they did that didn't kill the room was so I'm going live on like all the Instagram pages Friday night. So I've got to like set it up to where, okay, I'm going to do this song. I need a song in between to, you know, get that song I went live on posted and get the next one ready. So how it broke up was, okay, secret of my success. I'll go live on Jack's page for that. And Night Ranger did Touch of Madness. And that was not planned. I mean, they, act like it on stage like it wasn't planned, but they weren't acting. It was not planned. And we got lucky that I was going live on Jack's page, so we got to see that. And I guess Paul Sidoti, Taylor Swift's guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
I guess he saw the live feed and texted Jack or Brad, how fucking great it was that he got to see Touch of Madness. So, some positive feedback came from that. But you got Friday night. I think you got Eddie, but I know you got Seven Wishes. I know you got Touch of Madness. You got Rumors, and then the rest of it was kind of your traditional set list. Um, Now, Night Ranger does have a new shirt. So if you go to the website, they do have a new tour shirt. There are some dates that haven't been announced on the back that you can figure out. There's a lot more dates coming up that haven't been announced yet, so don't think that that's it. So there is a new shirt that was on sale. Um, One thing I did do was I was talking to the promoters and everybody that run the theater there at the Strat. I was like, if you guys want, give me permissions on the Strat Facebook, and I'll go live on um, the Strat's page. So I had, the permissions for, the both days I was there. So I was able to go live, Night Ranger both nights. And I think, I went down and met with Pearcy Saturday night and was like, hey, I'm able to go live on the Strats page. It's new eyeballs, people that normally won't be looking at Night Ranger Pearcy. I'm like, what song do you want to do? And he basically said, let's do Round and Round. And so I went live with Pearcy on Round and Round. So if you're looking for more live stuff, obviously the band's individual pages, but go to the Strats Facebook page and um, you can see the two Night Ranger and the Stephen Pearcy stuff. All right, so after the show, I went down, had some drinks with Carrie and Eric and the crew, and lo and behold, who do I see sitting there? I was like, oh shit, there's old Brent's boy, Mr. Eric Singer of Kiss, and there's a lot of people around him and everything, and I kind of drank with some of the other guys, and I was kind of like where the exit would have been for that little area we were at. And Eric Singer's leaving, and he walks over to that little area where I'm at, and whoever he was leaving with wasn't joining them, so he's kind of standing there. So like, this will be a good time to tell him about the first time I met him. And there's the man.
Right
Um,
there.
and I was like, the first time I met you, I went to go see Gilby Clark at the Agora Theater in Cleveland. This is before the internet and everything. So you didn't know who was in Gilby's band. So I walked before the show. I walked in the bathroom, club bathroom, so it's kind of dirty. And I see some guy bent over wrapping toilet paper around his arm. I'm like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Right. And I kind of go start taking a piss, keep my eye, looking around my shoulder, like, what's this guy fucking doing? Well, someone comes in, a couple seconds after me or whatever. And I hear the dude go, hey man, you're Eric Singer. And I hear toilet paper dude go, yeah, man, hi, what's up? And I knew from the videos, what Eric Singer sounded like. I'm like, holy shit, that's Eric Singer. Now Eric interrupts me right at this point. He goes, what was I doing with the toilet paper? And I go, I asked you that fucking question after the show. I was curious myself. And you had told me had to use the bathroom, take a shit. And the shitter that was clean had no toilet paper. The shitter that was dirty had all the toilet paper. So you were wrapping toilet paper. So again, his buddy's not leaving. So we started talking. And I think I just brought up, I do Night Ranger's social media or whatever. He goes, I'm not really on social media. He goes, I got Facebook just for the marketplace so I can buy stereo equipment. And I'm like, motherfucker. That's like we talk about all the time on the podcast where I buy all the stereo equipment, on Facebook Marketplace. So we started talking about that. Then we started talking about like 8 tracks and we talked about, the Pink Floyd show in Cleveland and um I don't know what else we got on. But anyways, we were talking about for probably about 20 minutes. And finally, I was like, I got a podcast. We can kind of just do this, huh? And so we exchanged information, and hopefully our schedules will match. Which my our schedule ain't. We'll probably do about anything, but he's the you know worldwide drummer, to where we can get him on the
Yeah.
podcast. So that was kind of cool. Got to bullshit with Eric for a while, and so who else was down there? And I don't know if any of you guys, if I've ever brought it up, but Eric, who is Night Ranger's monitor world guy. So he's like all their in ears, so where Radley is what you hear out in the crowd, Eric does all of what Night Ranger hears, right? So, but he was in Murder Dolls with like Wednesday 13 and Joey Jorgensen from Slipknot and um, all these bands. So if you're into that kind of music, Night Ranger's monitor guy is, that guitarist from Murder Dolls. So there you go. But another person I met that night, her name is Andy. I don't know her last name, but I did exchange information with her. She is Kiss's wardrobe person.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes care of all the outfits and everything. Um, she's worked with, Stevie Nicks, um, the Eagles. She, I think, did a tour, like the stadium tour with Motley and Def Leppard and Poison. She was with Motley Crue, and then she's been mainly though with Kiss the last 5 or 6 years. So may get her on the podcast. Just talk a little Kiss with you and stuff like that. So yeah. But anyways, some interesting people. Friday night, Saturday. Um, Old Bradley Gillis gives me a gives me a ring because Brad is was doing that Jim Cara exhibition thing and um wanting to go get breakfast. So me and Brad go get some breakfast. I kind of arranged all the logistics for that um Jim Cara guitar exhibit. So those that don't know, Jim Cara does a lot of guitars for Gene and Ace and Brad and all that stuff. And he was having an exhibit at the Rio, which has the Kiss World um exhibit there. So it's basically Gene's Kiss collection.
Yeah.
And they got like, putt putt and some other stuff there. And so your buddy Bruce Kulick was there. So we had a table with Bruce and his wife, and they were selling stuff. And
I saw
um,
Brad playing Bruce's guitar.
you know, that was towards the end. So Brad was, signing autographs, and so I was kind of, helping handle that. But so they had mini Bubbas, so like a miniature Bubba that you could purchase. They had
Now, was that from Brad or was that from Jim?
that's all. This is Jim Kerr stuff.
Yeah. How much were
Um,
those?
so those were 100.
Were they?
Um, um, you
Yeah.
had I don't know what else. You had like a big picture of
Yeah.
Brad and Ozzy, and it maybe with like a tiny Bubba, it was 350. And then you had a big one, right? A bigger picture of Ozzy and Brad, and it was a real Bubba. I don't think meant to play, like, maybe didn't have all those components, but it looked like it could. And that was like 3,500 bucks. And it sold. Um, so you can see all the videos and stuff on the page. Um, now
Did
Brad
you get
had,
did you get a little Bubba?
well, so for Christmas, Brad sent me one,
Okay.
but I never showed it because I knew it was premiering at that. So I will get my Bubba. So it comes in, little kind of like cardboard guitar
Yeah,
case.
Axe Haven does those, right?
Yeah, so there's that. Now in my shipment, I think the nut fell off, so I got to super glue it. But there you go. So those out there in radio land, it's just a miniature Bubba. It's
Yep.
got strings on it. Looks almost like you could play it. And then it comes with a guitar stand, so you can hang that on the wall or. But yeah, and even for 100 bucks, it's a steal. I mean, I thought they were really good quality, and um yeah. So uh
I was sending you pictures because you were ended up in the Kiss Monster Mini Golf social media. That's where I was getting those pictures from.
yeah, I just saw a new one. Someone posted somewhere. There's a picture of Brad, and you see my lumpy ass standing next to him. Um, um, but yeah, so that was really cool. A lot of the films were there.
How many hours did that last?
think we left at 11:30. I think it kind of started at noon, and I think we were there till 2:45. So,
Okay.
um, but I got picture of Brad and Bruce. If you get a chance, look up Jim Cara's guitars. I mean, they're phenomenal. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but here's a picture of
Yeah.
life-size Gene and Brad. Um,
Someone like in Sweden or something made that and for Gene, and they had to ship it back over here.
there's
He,
Ace's smoking guitar and Brad. I don't know if there's video of that out there or not, but yeah,
you know,
so Kiss World is kind of cool. I mean, the putt putt is like neon. It was neat. And the Kiss, collection was cool.
phenomenal.
It's mostly newer stuff, right? There was only really a small section that had the old stuff, and it wasn't complete. I mean, they had a guitar, like the plastic guitar, and some of the other stuff, but most of it was more recent, more recent stuff. Now, up higher on
Yeah, the
top of the
records.
case for the records, like where I probably could grab them, I did see I did see this one up there. So that's that one's worth a nice little um chunk of change. So
Oh, I went to turn around and just grab it because you know, I can see it anytime I want.
yeah. Um
And I think mine's in better shape than Jeans is in. Mine looks freaking mint.
yeah.
But yeah, that's sweet. I think there's like two of those on display. I think
Mhm. Um
you could
so
really reach up and grab it. You could. It
I
was that
probably
low.
well I don't know. I mean if you were, let's say you were 6'5",
Yeah.
I think you could probably get on your maybe tiptoes and grab it.
Mm,
I would probably have to, if you're, 6 foot or under, you could still probably jump up and grab it and pull it down. So
mm.
let's just put it this way: if you wanted it bad enough, you could get it. Um, so so we did that Saturday, came back, went straight to this VIP for the sound check for Saturday. That night, I think they played Eddie. I don't know if they did Friday night, but I know they did that night. They put Secret in the um, set list, did Alice and Ozzy, they did High Road. So those were some of the songs they did Saturday night. Seeing if there's so yeah, so seeing if there's anything else here. So you had the Bubba. So between the set list or between the sound check VIPs and drinking, being at the bar Friday night or Thursday night, or just being around the hotel, like I don't know, I was running down the casino floor doing something, and I heard Josh. I kind of turned around, and I think you had met them in Cincinnati, or wherever we were at the
Tim
horse
Steele.
track. Yes, and met him, and I think it's his wife Melissa,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe this was Friday, and they introduced themselves, and they drove all the way from Kentucky.
Oh, they
They're
drove there, huh?
Yeah.
I knew he was going because he hit me up asking if I was going to be there
Mhm.
and wanted to know who else was going to be there. I said, just post on the page. Hey, going to Vegas. Who's all going to show up?
Well, Brad Klink pretty much let you know who was
Oh,
at the show.
Brad Klink he was more active than you were.
He was, here's a film. He knew where the band was.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so I'm just going to read all. I'm sure I'm going to miss someone, and if I do, I apologize. But Tim Steele, Melissa, uh, Night Ranger was there. Got to see him for a little bit on Saturday. Um, and then Brad Klink, who we just mentioned from Canada. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Carletta Casto, kind of new to the page, maybe. Um, she was there. she's actually not too far. She's in Chillicothe, kind of like between me and you. Um, but I met her, um, Lonnie and Sydney. What is it? Zuniga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're on the page. They were out there. Um, Greg and Tiffany Halstead are out there. Angie Kiefer, um, Lorraine Samuels. I might be missing one of the hyphen last names there, but um, Lisa Michelle, Dan Market bought me a beer. Um, Mila Hiles, I think she was kind of with Lisa and Carletta. Kevin Avery was out there. Dale Fiera, Matt Hatter, Jennifer Irwin. I didn't get to meet all these people. I just, knew that, they were posted on the page out there. Lisa McClendon, Warren Rosen, Jody Carter, Lally Boyle. And there was a girl named Stephanie Cayley, maybe. She, I think, was there with her mom in the wheelchair. I got to see them at the sound check. There were a couple people from Europe there that had flew from Europe to Vegas. Um, and like I got a couple of their CD books signed for them, which turned into, I was like, give me a couple of CD books. You guys flew away from Europe. I'll get you something signed. And fuck, one of them's on one end of the hotel. So they probably thought I took off with their CD books because it probably took me 40 minutes to, what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
finagle where they were. But
Are they on
yeah.
the page now?
I think one is Eric. I think is the other the couple with the CD books. Mentioned Fans in Motion, and they were on Facebook. And so so yeah, so they but we got them taken care of. Like I said, it was a lot of Fans in Motion out there. It was really good. I met David Plastic, who's taken photos of Night Ranger throughout the years. Um,
Who is a wrestler? Somebody posted a picture with
oh,
the, and I'm like, I still have no idea
so
who that is.
uh, So I think he goes by two names. I think one's his wrestling name and one's his real name. Dolph Ziggler, which definitely sounds like a fucking porn name, but
Yeah,
and Nick Nemeth.
yeah.
Um, so, but also who's the bass player in Last in Line?
Phil Sassoon.
Yeah, he was there. I was literally running something, I don't know, Ed or something. I about ran into him. I was just like, "Hey, Phil," kind of like, how's this person know me? But kind of like probably happy that someone recognized him. Kevin Rankin was there, who's been on the podcast, drummer for Flock of Seagulls. Um, but I didn't know he was out there, and he was only out there Friday night. So by the time we kind of communicated, he had already left. But yeah, like the wrestler, a lot of people, knew him. But so yeah, so that was Saturday night, great show. Where most people flew out Sunday morning. I actually, me, Kelly, and his wife, went to the airport and I got a rental. And of all the places I've been around the world, like I've been overseas 10 times, but all around the United States, but I've never been to California. So I rented a car and I drove to Joshua Tree um that day. And I left a little bit later than I was originally going to do, so I didn't really get to hike. But I would stop some places in Joshua Tree and go, I'm gonna go over here, maybe 10 yards off the road, right? What the fuck is up with cactus? Like real world cactus. Like I don't think I've ever really encountered real world cactus to where I know cactus is cactus, right? So I'm not gonna go near it. But like I'm walking, like all of a sudden, what the fuck? You know? And it's like a little ball of cactus that's on the ground. And your natural reaction is to reach down and swat it, and then this shit's like sticking into fucking soles of shoes. And it's just like I'm having an argument with the fucking plant. Like you're a fucking cactus. Like no one wants to fucking eat you. You don't need this much
Mm.
evolution. Like I get a porcupine. You're made of meat, right? You know, there's nothing out there eating the other fucking plants that don't have spikes on it. Why the fuck? I don't know. I just don't like
They
cactus.
store a lot of water. That's why.
Fuck those fuckers. So anyways, that
And
sucked.
that
Um,
what's the
but
plural cat? What's the plural of cactus, Josh?
probably cacti. I don't know.
Cacti. That's correct.
Um, but anyways, there's all that horse shit.
Did you
Um,
think, damn it, I'm the only prick that's allowed to be out here?
well, it's like I'm glad there was no one around because I was like a Three Stooges episode. Like I was like all three of them myself. I'm like poking my own eyes and blocking shit
Yeah.
because I'm moving this and this hurts and this is like shit, fuck, damn, and yeah, it sucked. Um, and then Saturday I went to, or then what was it? Monday I went to LA, which I've never been to LA. LA is weird, like a little city because like you'll be on like a flat road that's like just driving your main strip of your local hometown, and then you take a right or a left, and suddenly you're going up like through $1 million homes
Mm-hmm.
up on on these hills. So just that was kind of unique. You don't see that too often, but fucking rained the whole fucking day.
Yeah, which was crazy. So they never get it.
Yeah, rained the whole fucking day. So I just went ahead and went to a cemetery. I knew there'd be no one there, so I went and saw like Stan Laurel's grave, Bill Paxton, John Ritter, uh,
Lemmy. I saw Lemmy.
yeah, David Carradine. Um, I thought this was a good one. Penny
Penny
Marshall
Marshall.
had
Oh, they got the L on there.
yeah. Um, Jeff Pecoro is buried just right, 10 yards away from Penny Marshall. Um, William Conrad, I don't know if you remember him, but he's like
Yeah.
off by himself. Just like you would never know.
He
Um,
used to do battery commercials in the 70s. Do you know this?
no, I know Jake and the
And
Fat Man.
he'd put a I'm thinking of Robert Conrad. Forgive me.
Yeah. Uh,
Sorry.
I found Skylar Neal, Vince's daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I have an uncle that's buried out there. So, as you drive like, towards it, there's people selling flowers. So I bought like, 3 roses or something, $5 or something. And I still had one in the car. So I threw one down on Skylar's just out there kind of by itself. And, um, but, another person like, so some of the celebrities are kind of like, in little, like, not like areas by themselves, but you can walk from here to there but like there's areas where there's really no one, but like I was, again doing this kind of didn't really do any research. I probably should have, but I saw Ralph Bellamy, right? And that's Mortimer from Trading Places.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just out there, just by himself. And it's just like, holy shit, there's Mortimer.
So
Um
you didn't have a guide that told you who was there. You just kind of came across
I
these
was
people.
well, some of them um you could sometimes find like a website where someone had been there before and plotted some of the graves, but like they would plot Penny Marshall but not Jeff Picard, or they would plot Penny Marshall but not David Carradine. It was just whoever they were looking for. I did find this just walking by. Vincent Casuno.
Mm.
They killed him in 1980. And that's not the real one.
Wait, well, you know what? Well, how many wives has he had that died? He had one that turned up missing.
But that is how it is, right? So I did a video on the page, just showing like I put some guitar picks on Lemmy's and I just went some other places. But even in that video, I'm like, who knows who I'm walking by? And the other night I watched someone else's video and I walked by like, oh, what was her name? Anyways, the wife, Wheezy, on the
Oh
Jeffersons.
yeah,
I walked right by her. And
Estelle.
I walked by just different people. Like I don't know the name, but like, oh, he's like in every 50s and 60s movie character actor. So there's all these people that you just find if you're actually looking and they got a picture. Like I think when I was showing Matthew Perry's, grave or whatever, um, I found that Michael Duncan guy, the guy in Green
Mm-hmm.
Mile, like he just happened to be there. Freddie Prinz, I just happened to find, walking by. But when I was doing the video, I kind of knew where it was at, so I was able to go back. But
Did
Freddie
it say looking
Prinz,
good on the
I
headstone?
don't know.
Looking good.
Liberace, there was Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, Ronnie James Dio. Um,
They had the horns going, didn't he?
well, I'll show you right here with Dio. Where was it? Jimmy Bain
Mm,
is there. Um, so if you look right next to Dio's crypt or whatever,
yeah.
he's got those. Um,
Why eyes doing hang loose is beyond me. I meant to do that.
but so I did if you look, here's Lemmy, and you can see like the Brad pick and stuff there. Did I maybe I didn't post that, but I just may send it to the guys. Um, and then I went to the other cemetery, saw Don Rickles, which if you're on my Facebook page, I tell my Don Rickles story. Went to the comedy store. Oh, here. You know what that is? That's the Motley House
Is it?
up the road from the whiskey. Um, but I went to the whiskey. I went and had dinner at the Rainbow. Um, and saw the Lemmy statue at the Rainbow. Anyways, I knew that the original Boardwalk Records was somewhere in LA. And I'm like, who would know, where it would be at? Jack, Brad, or Kelly? But then it's like, well, who would get back to me first, right? Like, who usually has their phone? It's like
Well,
Kelly.
here's the thing. Before you start saying this, when you they don't remember anything, it's
No, they don't.
yeah,
They don't.
and you said
They don't.
somebody gave you the address. I'm thinking, wasn't the address on the back of the album? Could you not Google the album?
No, it's not. It just
It's
says
not
Los.
okay.
No, it
Okay,
just says
I'm
Los.
looking now.
Trust me, I looked. But I didn't think it was, but I still went and looked anyways, and it's not on the record and it wasn't on the singles. So I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of doing this while I'm at the
Okay,
Rainbow. And I'm like, well, who will get back to me first? So I'm getting ready to leave. And I'm like, Jack would probably remember most, but Jack doesn't always have his phone. So, I may not get so I'm like Kelly, but Kelly may not remember. So I sent like, hey, I'm in LA. I want to go see Boardwalk. You happen to remember the address, and I'm laughing like none of these guys. Like they'll tell me, well, it was, you know, in between this and
it was
this.
down by
Yeah.
what's the hamburger place? In-N-Out Burger.
Someplace that was been gone for 30 years. Kelly sends me the actual address, like 8255 Sunset Boulevard, California, zip code. And I'm like, how the fuck does he remember that? So if you guys go to the page, you can see I did a live video, right? So I get people, I'm in my car, and of course it's fucking raining. But then when I'm there,
Yeah, and I was just getting ready to go to bed, and I see you. Um,
but you can see
Josh
the
is alive. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
but you can see the big, and those have always been there. So that's why I think they remember it, just the big ass numbers on the um because when I sent it to Brad, first thing he said was, I recognize this right away from the numbers. He didn't have to look at the building. He saw those numbers. I know what building that is. Um, so it was cool just to go to, I think I went across the street and, went to the steps, and this is the place where, Night Ranger signed their first record deal, Boardwalk Records, and Neil Bogart was there and Bruce Bird, all that Kiss history. Um, and yeah, so that was kind of neat Night Ranger wise, and so that was cool to do that. And I went downtown and saw like my flight was I didn't get a hotel Monday night because I flew out really early Monday morning, so I was just basically trying to kill time while I was there at night. Went to the Hard Rock in LA and I did find a Damn Yankees sighting. All the way in the back, you got a Jack, Ted, and Tommy photo.
Hmm.
Warren DeMartini is the photo on top. But so yeah, um so that was, kind of my trip there, and um, a lot of fun Night Ranger stuff, and it was really cool seeing all the fans in motion. So, we got a lot more tour dates coming up. I know probably you'll see me, probably Andy, probably Brent at the some of the shows in April, middle of April, where it's like Anderson, Indiana, Tiffin, Ohio, Newark, Ohio. And there are more dates being announced for June and July and for the
Yeah.
rest of the year.
And when we're all going to see Warrant, where and when?
We might be at the Warrant Show at the Belterra and March 23rd, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, all three of us are supposed to be there.
So if you're there, go say hi to Brent and Andy. Um,
And
so
yeah. You don't have to buy us beers because we won't be drinking. So,
I may be
so
there. You can
oh
buy me,
yeah. But you said hi to Brent and Andy. That's it. So screw you.
but anyways, that's the Vegas trip. So if you didn't make it out there, you missed out. What do you got?
All in all, real good trip.
Yeah, I mean, uh, you know, got to hang out with really the guy I didn't get to, hang out with was the guy that gave me my start, which was Kelly, just because it was, he's there with his wife and it was her birthday. So, but spent a little time with Jack and obviously Brad and Eric and Carrie and got to hang out with Ed and the new guitar tech, talk Peter Frampton, Joe Perry. So it's all good.
Yeah, it was funny because when I sent you the message, I'm just being stupid. Trying to find it. Anyway, I was telling Josh not to buy any gummies and no shenanigans and then I said on a side note, I bet you every city had a bar named Shenanigans. And Josh wrote back, there used to be a bar named here, Shenanigans. Ever
It's
since that little conversation I sent you, I've heard the word shenanigans almost every day, either on TV or on the radio. And over the weekend, I think it was we were at Walmart. Yeah, because I was looking for the CD and they had all their Irish shirts out. One shirt just said shenanigans across the chest. I'm like, and I looked at Christina, like, I hadn't thought about this word in forever. And I just bring it up to Josh because I'm just trying to just stupid words, not, like, instead of, behave. I just being Brent.
Now I'm sure there was a Shenanigans in
Shenanigans
Vegas somewhere,
everywhere.
but I think the place I was thinking of was O'Shea's. So
Oh, okay.
O'Shea's used to be on the strip. Vince Neil had like a tattoo shop there for a while. Um, but yeah, but I'm sure at one time there was a Shenanigans there, but I think I was thinking of O'Shea's.
Okay,
Yeah.
because yeah, here it is. It says, by the way, be good out there. You represent me and Andy on the road. So no crazy tomfoolery. Have not heard that word at all, but shenanigans is everywhere. I heard shenanigans on the way to work today on the radio. So there you go.
Shenanigan is a nice uh
Yeah.
G-rated way to say,
No
don't get
bull.
don't get fucked up and do stupid shit.
And then I throw in a smart word like, and I said, and for your edification, I bet every city had a bar called Shenanigans in the late 80s, early 90s. We had one. Edification. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
made me sound smarter.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Well, um,
I'm glad you had a good time. I wish we could all been there.
so uh but hopefully everybody's enjoyed the Joey Allen interview. Part two was released last week. Um,
Part one, you mean?
well,
Part two is coming.
no, we're releasing this episode next week
No, you said part two was released last week. I thought no. Part two wasn't released yet.
because I'm releasing this next week.
Oh, I thought you. Okay.
I'm releasing part
Yeah,
two tomorrow. You're breaking the illusion.
I
But
just figured
anyways,
you. Yeah,
part
go
two,
ahead.
Joey Warrant's out. Great interview. A lot of fun stuff with that. We got some interviews coming up. So, you know, deep in the Night Ranger minutia and some not so deep, but hey, we're in what episode 120 something, or where we need new fresh stuff to talk about with Night Ranger. Hey, if you get a chance on Netflix, watch the documentary on We Are the World. Very good and very interesting. I was quite surprised. I mean, I guess not surprised. I mean, most documentaries are decent, but it was cool seeing how that came about and so
Mm-hmm.
quick, and who they were wanting, um, and because like they were trying to get Prince. They finally at the last minute get confirmation Prince is not coming now. Okay, Huey Lewis, you're going to sing Prince's part, and so he's thrust into it, and you see all the you know the obstacles that come with getting Cyndi Lauper and him and all that stuff to sound good, and you see 50 creative people in a room, all of them trying to give input, and they only got like so many hours. And you see Lionel Richie shutting that down, um and you kind of see how just fucking talented Michael Jackson is. Like you see these other people, like when I say other people, it's Paul Simon, it's um,
Stevie Wonder,
Stevie Wonder,
Diana Ross.
Kenny Rogers, right? Tina Turner, Billy Joel. So these other people are like the best of the best, and you see them kind of practicing and stuff. And with Michael Jackson, it's just like perfection every time. And um, so I mean, I think we've just had so many. I mean,
Yeah.
how Michael Jackson turned into a joke, basically. It's just weird to see this fresh new material from when he was at his height, and we didn't know, whatever charges and shit happened and all the weird shit, and um, so it's very cool to see that. So if you get a
Cool.
chance, watch the We Are the World documentary. Brent, we got anything else before we say goodbye to all the
Mm.
yahoos?
Got nothing else.
All right, brother. So there you are. If you're out there, click subscribe on the YouTube page. Obviously, everything we've been talking about really like online is through the Facebook group. Um, so just go to Facebook, at the top where you can search, just just type in Fans of Motion Night Ranger. You'll find us. Click join. 10,000 members now. We're a fucking machine. Um, Go to Instagram and Threads and X. We're all there as well. Um, yeah. So there you are. If you we still got some of the white shirts.
We'll do a
Fans of
parody of
Motion.
10,000 volts.
10,000 films
Yeah.
on the fucking page. But if you want $25, that includes shipping. All
Put
right,
that shit
man.
in my hand. Yeah, I got to
We
run.
we will talk at you all later.